Did it. Oh my god, I did it, finally. Oh my god, I did it. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. In V25, Act 2, I hit Immortal for the first time. What's so special about that? Why is that significant? Great questions. I get it. Thousands of players hit Immortal every act, whether it's their first time or the usual start to the act. And when you put it that way, it doesn't make this any more special than the next person. What makes my journey stand out is that 3 years ago, I played my first 5 ranked games of Valorant and placed Iron 3. That means I climbed from Iron 3 to Immortal, and that makes me one of the few players to have ever done so. From way back then, I still see that players I was in the team with either don't play anymore or just haven't made as much progress as I have. Hi, I'm Yanaka, an 18-year-old Valorant player who's just trying to make something out of the game I enjoy playing so much. And if you care to stick around even after this video, you'll be able to see how I climbed the rank ladder and become one of the only players to have ever gone from Iron to Radiant. I wish I could state the names of people I know who have done so, but I don't, so if you know any, comment them down below. Otherwise, stick around and let me be your first role model, after which I'll attempt to create a career for myself in a game that I love. Oh my god! In this video, I'm going to go over the obstacles I had to overcome in my journey that led me to hitting Immortal and Valorant, in hopes I can help someone else overcome those obstacles, as well as know that they have someone they can relate to. Obstacle 1. Mechanics.
You will not kill my ally!
Spike down A. One enemy remaining. A. One enemy remaining. Long. Spike down. Last player standing.
Looking at that short montage, you would think I never had bad aim to begin with, but let me show you some clips from 3 years ago.
Wow.
I'll let some more play in the background. But anyways, after seeing that, I think it's safe to say that at the beginning of my journey, I was essentially fresh off a boat, which makes sense because Valorant is the first FPS shooter I ever played. Regardless of my circumstances, Valorant is an FPS game, so not having insane mechanics was something that held me back, and it's something I still work on till this day. Excelling means winning your gunfights. As soon as I realized that, I worked on and still work on my fundamentals till I can confidently say I have the mechanics of a top player. How did I do this? This will be unexpected, but the truth is, I didn't do anything special. No aim trainers, I didn't even play as many deathmatches as I should, as I only became aware of the importance of deathmatches recently. Last act, V25 Act 6, and even then I only totaled 25 hours. I never used aim trainers because I wanted to prove to myself that I can achieve my goals without them. This may sound obvious, but the improvement of my fundamentals came from not only becoming much more self-aware and seeking the advice of other players better than myself, like Zephyr or Pendragon through his page coaching, but mainly and most importantly, it came from consistently, emphasis on consistently, putting more hours into the game than I ever have before, leading to me becoming the player that I am today. After episode 8 Act 1, fresh off a long-term break from the game, my hours in ranked shot from 9.4 hours to 75 to 120 to 180 hours, and now my peak 239 hours just last act. This meant that, rather than isolating my aim alone in an aim trainer, I was always simultaneously working on other aspects of mechanics, such as movement, peeking, and cross placement, trying to adapt to game by game, in game. Sorry to break it to you, but there are no shortcuts to becoming a better version of yourself. For the average player, I admit these hours are unhealthy, but this video is about sharing exactly what I did to hit Immortal, and investing a disturbing amount into the game, more than the general populace, is what I do to become a mechanically better player every day, and I'll play my opponents. To hone my mechanics, I will be investing significantly more hours into deathmatches for reasons I can get into another video. In my personal opinion, aim trainers are unnecessary, but I imagine they can accelerate the process. To get into more specifics, I also became more mechanically consistent after developing and implementing a warm-up routine every day, before queuing, which is what led me to hitting Immortal 2 last act. Reflecting on what I did to get me to this point, what I would recommend doing differently is playing 1 to 2 deathmatches in between a game or two of ranked for these reasons. First, it keeps your aim consistent. Deathmatches allow you to reset, which is important for long sessions, and it helps you lock in on the mechanical mistakes you made in your previous games and work on them in real time rather than forget what they are later. Second, and most importantly, it's a mental reset. Deathmatches offer you a break. After a bad game, deathmatches clear tilt, rebuilds confidence, and helps you refocus before queuing again. Secret tip: if you're running low on energy, grab a banana. They're a quick source of energy as you can process the card faster. Great for a reset. Third, deathmatches prevents burnout on autopilot. Constant engagements keep reaction time high and stop your mechanics from slowly dropping off. And finally, it reinforces good habits: movement, peeking, and weapon comfort without any rank pressure. The key is not playing to win deathmatch, but using it to practice clean fights and carry those habits back into rank. More on the benefits of deathmatches in my next video. Drop a comment if you'd like that. If you're serious about overcoming the mechanics obstacle, the action steps are straightforward and simple. 1. Develop a warm-up routine and follow it every day, regardless of whether you play ranked that day or not. 2. Play at least 3 deathmatches and 1 TDM a day. The more you play, the better. Again, regardless of whether you play ranked for that day or not, it is important you play those deathmatches with intention. 3. Invest in purposeful hours in ranked, and you see results in a month or 2. These 3 steps are very casual and can be integrated in your day-to-day life. The most important concept is being consistent with it. In my opinion, you do nothing more than this to become a better player mechanically. I only do more because I have goals greater than just becoming better, and it's about doing so fast. If you want to know what I personally do and why, let me know in the comments. If you want results faster, invest more time into step 2 and introduce aim trainers. If you're just starting out, I would recommend upwards of 30% of your time goes into step 2, as playing ranked will be the most beneficial aspect in all of this. Selfish plug here, but if you have any questions you want answered live, I stream on Twitch and will be trying to do so every day at twitch.tv/Yamikos. Pull up and come say hi. All the links to my socials are in the description down below. Thank you. Obstacle 2. Mindset/mental. You've probably heard this a lot, and it's because it's true, but this is the most important difficulty to overcome, and I know it doesn't seem like it, but the game is often reduced to me reina, me swing. But ignoring the complexity of the game, and thus what it will take for you to become a better player, doesn't do yourself any favors. You can only climb so high that way. Without a proper mindset, I struggled, not only to develop my mechanics, but myself as a player and a person with goals to achieve. Furthermore, a bad mental affected both how I enjoyed the game and also my performance in the game, as well as my fulfillment out of it. I would experience nights I couldn't sleep, unsatisfied with my progress speed or performance that day, due to lack of patience or at least a realization of the fact that improvement takes time, reminding myself I was once iron. Listen up and lock in, yeah, I'm about to explain the mindset I developed to hit Immortal. If you have the goal of ranking up, your actions and thoughts should align with winning and improving. Whatever your goal is, you should be able to easily trace your actions and thoughts back to it. And if an action or thought isn't able to be traced back to your goal, then eliminate it. What does this mean for the typical Valorant player? Stop tilting at your teammates and taking out your anger for your own incompetence on them. It means you stop queuing a surrender vote ever, not giving up on the game just because you're down or negative at any point. The game is never over till it's over. It means you stop complaining about smurfs and treat it like a learning experience or a challenge to gauge the progress you've made as a player. You're trying to become the smurf or better than them, so how does complaining about unfairness get you closer to your goal? It doesn't. You're simply inferior and you need to work on that. No amount of anger, self-induced stress increases your chance of winning or improving, and I understand it can be hard, but you need to remind yourself of the reasons you play. This should be taken into consideration in more than just your ranked matches. The way you aim train, play deathmatches or team deathmatches, or the content you watch should align with your goals and be practiced with your goals in mind. Eliminate patterns you recognize within yourself that don't align with helping you achieve your goals, and keep whatever gives your hard work value. This includes certain emotions or beliefs, and you have the power to accept those emotions or beliefs or disregard them. Whether you choose to believe that it's possible or not, there are people out there who can, such as myself. As someone who used to race daily in gold and I quit for a year because of that, the ability to do so I know is not an innate characteristic. And at least in games, I believe that anger and stress are a choice. I need to self-induce. And by choosing to be fine with those emotions, you're hindering yourself. I'm not saying it's easy and that those feelings go away instantly, but it's something you can control most definitely. And if you want to keep it in your gameplay due to self-limiting beliefs, then fine, sue yourself. Another thing you need to realize and remember is that in the hundreds of games you will play to achieve your goal of hitting Immortal, you are going to be the only constant. Focus on improving yourself, the constant variable you can control, instead of blaming your teammates and enemies who you have no control over. Once I developed this mindset, I noticed that I converted more games that initially felt unwinnable, played consistently better, which led me to enjoying the game more as I grind, as I would see real-time feedback, and this mindset also allowed me to train more effectively than ever before. Other than this mindset, the other things I would do to help with my mental state was take a step back from the game, get some food or water or snack, and reflect as I refueled myself with energy. Not that many people notice, but aside from the factors in game that affect your mental, there are many factors in real life which do as well indirectly. It's like getting a headache after depriving yourself of enough water or food throughout the day. you could also be having an energy crash, so it is important to be aware of your body as well, because your body and mind are intrinsically connected. The action steps you could take to help with mental reset is 1. Taking a step away from your PC after a really bad game. I've heard recommendations of playing death matches in between instead. However, I don't believe you do yourself a favor in attempting to reset your mental by playing when that's what got you there in the first place. Number 2. Assess yourself. Use your short time away from your PC as a moment of reflection. Talk to yourself about how the game went and what you could have done differently. 3. Once you've taken the time to assess your mental state, question if it could be improved by other means. This could mean eating to refuel energy or drinking water. Side note for anyone like myself. I understand the craving to grind, but what's the point if you're putting yourself in a worse position to do so? It's not sustainable otherwise, and I understand time waits for no one, but you will always have time to eat in a day. Anyway, do that now while simultaneously preparing yourself for success. Number 4. Whilst taking your break, you can also watch the game over using the new replay system. This will allow you to simultaneously assess where you went wrong while preparing yourself to do better in game. It also helps you realize that it's not the end of the world with a bad game because you see your mistakes. Those mistakes don't define you as long as you don't let them. It's the greatest mental reset, or at least it was in my experience. Not only did these steps help me with my mental, but it also helped me with my game sense. The third difficulty that I face is a lack of knowledge and having a fixed perspective of the game. Most would assume game sense, but don't realize that game sense is made up of 2 parts: knowledge and application. Playing the game with the right mindset and with intense focus meant that I was applying my knowledge to the best I could. However, that doesn't mean it wasn't flawed. I had many misconceptions about how the game should be played, and without expanding and refining my understanding of the game, my gameplay would always end up flawed, and it can really create a lack of a sense of direction. This is where getting the perspectives of players better than myself comes in handy, either through live or VOD coaching, or just asking questions about my perspective of a play I made and getting feedback on that. This opened my eyes to the ways players in the higher ranks read and understand the game. This is when I realized my perspective of the game was one of my greatest limiting factors, and as someone who appreciates different perspectives regardless of the topic or scenario, I was very excited to have realized this. No matter how much I've VOD reviewed my own gameplay, or reflected upon each death, I wouldn't have been able to fix the flaws the reading player pointed out, and this is why it's so important in real life as well to be capable of being able to explore something with the help of a different lens, not just necessarily one better than yours. The coach looked at my gameplay and he saw the game so different it was exciting. He pointed out times I could have taken, information I didn't gather from enemy utility usage, or enemy setups, or patterns, and so much more. But most importantly, he critiqued and helped me question and assess my current approach to the game, as well as give me the reassurance where valid so I know I was doing the right thing or making good progress. There was so much I was just blind to see or realize, like moments of autopilot. The imperative point I'm trying to make is that you're going to plateau if you're not getting other perspectives when you're VOD reviewing. And most importantly, ask questions. Don't ever take information as is, it doesn't lead to understanding. The way improvement at GameSense works is a cycle in which you expand your knowledge and then refine your application of said knowledge, but it is impossible to apply what you don't know. Trust me, there are concepts that Immortal players and even some Radiant players aren't aware of, and they will never be able to apply it without someone else watching the gameplay. And it's that willingness to do so that makes the biggest difference. This is why your action step for this section of the video is to 1. Talk about your VODs with an Immortal or Radiant player, and if you don't have access to one of them, try the highest ranked player that you know and ask them to point out what they would do differently in a round, and really try to pick their brains and understand how they think. Ask them to state every scenario where you are right or wrong and why, the thought process behind the why. Become a sponge and absorb all the knowledge they give you. Learn to think in a similar way, and you don't need to do this often. If you're ever feeling stuck like I was, take this action step, and if you're playing with the right mindset, you will slowly expand your knowledge and automate your application of it. If you've made it this far, I hope I've provided you with a ton of value. If you do want to support me in my future endeavors, drop a sub. I promise the button won't bite. I'm not going to offer any sort of coaching or stuff like that because, to be frank, I'd rather spend the time on myself. If you lack higher ranked friends who can help you, I would recommend reaching out to Pendragon and getting a coaching session from him. I will leave a link to that in my description below. He's such a nice and relatable guy who would help you out. I understand not wanting to spend your money in coaching, but remember, you're ultimately investing in yourself, which is what matters most, and his sessions are much cheaper than anyone else I know. Coaching and such aside, I am more than willing to answer your questions on specific scenarios in your gameplay or other things of that nature in my Discord server or Twitch streams, so join the Discord using the link down below. All links to my content will be down below as well, such as my TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and know you are loved and appreciated for reaching the end. Very important side note, this video was specifically inspired by coye and his video I hit Immortal without any talent. A lot of what I go over was made easier to do because of him, so you should consider checking his amazing content out. Thanks again for watching. And mini side note for the mental bit of the video. you should never, ever reaffirm or reinforce negative feelings about yourself. I was queuing comp with my friend today, the 22nd of January 2026, and at the start of everything, I was doing terrible. I felt kind of incompetent, so I was like, in between, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play a deathmatch. And at the start of the deathmatch, I was downplaying myself.
Enemy down.
I'm just absolutely ass. It's so motivating to aim like this, I'll be honest. Oh my god. I was talking about how demotivating it was to see myself aim like this. Like, I didn't feel like playing the game at all at that point. But then I stopped. I just stopped at least vocalizing those words. And I just played the deathmatch as it was meant to be played. Just like playing it without like talking and just playing the game. And I started to do much better towards the end. It was refreshing. It really hit me today. So you should never reinforce negatives about yourself, especially if you want to climb. You should always try to give yourself some sort of confidence or benefit of the doubt. And if you're not going to do that, at least don't talk shit about yourself. Just play the game and try to trust in yourself a lot more. Another thing was, even after the deathmatch anyways, I queued another comp, and at this point I still hadn't recovered because it was 9 p.m. or 8 p.m, I don't know. But I hadn't eaten all day since I woke up because I was trying to work on this video. That's what mattered to me the most. So before queuing my next one after the bad Clove game, which you've seen the screenshot above, I decided to take a break and eat and watch VCT with the duo I was playing with. And as soon as I'm done eating, we get back in game. I play the Viper match. I'm starting to get my groove back. I'm less negative. After that, I've processed my food at this point, and it's just lights out. MVP match MVP, you know? So I promise my advice works. Just take it into consideration, okay? Anyways, thanks again for watching. I love you and have a good day.